Happy Thursday, Striver. Here we go on a big, important topic in personal development. Today, we're going to talk about the topic of worry. You know, so many people this time of year worry that they're not going to be able to change. They won't be able to achieve their goals by the end of this year. People worry that there's been too much chaos in the world. They worry about their family, worry about their wealth, worry about their ability to make things happen, worry about jobs, worry about meaning, worry about whether or not they're on the right path, worry about those difficult conversations come up, worry that I'm just stressing them out, bringing up all these worries. And here's what I'm here to tell you. You can handle this. Worry is not something that's going to stop you. Worry is a fictionalized tale that we often tell ourselves about what might happen in the future. And we tend to make the terrible mistake of replaying what might happen over and over and over again. We grab onto a worry and we just ride that thing for days and weeks and months, giving it so much mind share, so much time thinking about it, and thinking about it. Generating the same feelings day after day after day that come from that original worry. And we get ourselves stuck in this sort of useless loop that ultimately saps us from the vibrancy of life. It creates this ongoing loop of discouragement that at the end of the day, sadly, has usually been under much of our control. Now, of course, I'm here to tell you, not all worry is wasted. Sometimes it makes sense to worry about your health. It makes sense to worry about your family or your kids when they're in a bad predicament or using drugs or doing something that's inappropriate. It makes sense to worry about the success of your business. Sometimes worry can give you mental focus. It says, hey, I'm concerned about this, so I'm going to watch for it, and I am going to behave in a way that ensures that thing doesn't happen. It's often called a productive paranoia, in that you're thinking about it and you're being proactive to ensure it does not happen. In that case, when worry is tied to a proactive nature, when it goes from problem obsessing to solution searching, we tend to have a healthier time of worry. But listen, I'd like to talk about worry in just a few simple bullet points today that might help you with any worries you're facing. First and foremost, it's okay that you worry. You know, people often worry that they worry too much, and now they're in a worse loop. So let's just get okay with the fact that we all worry. We all worry at different times in our lives, at different intensities of our lives. It's okay to worry intensely. We know we have a trouble with worry when it's just an ongoing, repetitive thought, feeling discouragement, thought, feeling discouragement, or thought, feeling fear, thought, feeling fear loop. It's okay to have an intense worry. Oh my gosh, I just noticed this is happening. I've got to change. I've got to adjust. I've got to do something about it. But to have that feeling that is disempowered, oh no, oh no, oh no, and to live in that constant problem state over and over and over again, that's unhealthy. So let's walk through a few ideas. First, please don't believe that your worry is a fact. Often we believe all the thoughts that we have in our head, and they feel real to us. But sometimes worry isn't a fact. And the more time you spend on it, the more time you are spinning a fictionalized world that is, frankly, separate from reality. And right now, what we need is people's feet on the ground, facing life as it is, being real about it, and solving problems, being proactive, taking personal responsibility. And when there's lots and lots of things to worry about, as there always are, we have to say, well, which of those things do I have the ability to affect? What can I control? Let me turn my attention to what I can do, to what I can say, to the next step that is right for me versus spinning in worry. I think the most important thing is to notice when you are in spinning in worry that is detached from any fact or evidence. That when you're worrying about the kids and worrying about kids because they haven't called for 10 minutes, sometimes we got to take a step away from that and go, okay, they've tended to be okay when they leave the house for 10 minutes. Let me take a breather here. We've got to remember that when we worry, we can catch ourselves. We can take a few deep breaths. We can remind ourselves of what's real. And we can recalibrate that worry into saying, okay, is this something I need to act from or just release? Because emotions come up all the time. Worry is one of them. And we can see it and say, is that fact? Is that useful? Should I be concerned about that? Do I need to be concerned about that now? Should I release that or take action from that? And I've always found the more I work with people, the greater maturity they have, the more often they are likely to release the worry than to hold on to it and spin themselves into disempowerment. Second idea is, if you're having worry, again, it's okay, capture it. Just literally open up your journal in GrowthDay, capture the worry, and then do two things. Number one, identify what's the feeling you are sensing beyond just worry. Oh, no, Brett, I'm worried about the kids. Well, what is that worry generating in terms of feeling? Fear, insecurity, worthlessness, lack of capability. I feel embarrassed or shamed or unhappy, or there's usually a feeling below worry. What is that? Then ask, what's the value, the positive value you have in your life that is being conflicted, that's causing the feeling and the worry? Oh, well, I have a high value for, family cohesion. So I'm worried that someone is not being a part of the family. Oh, I have a high value for security. And so I am feeling a little insecure about my bank account right now. Oh, I have a high value for kindness. So I'm a little worried that I treated this person rudely yesterday. These things are positive intents, aren't they? I would say, when you meet a worrywart, please realize that there's a positive intent behind all of that worry. And our job in personal development is to recognize the positive intent that is usually driving all the emotions that we have. Most of the emotions that we have are, in some way, there's a positive intent behind it for safety, security, belonging, aliveness, connection, meaning. But they kind of get warped as our minds make up more and more stories, and those stories spin up into worries, and those worries spin off a few more chapters of stories, and now we live in this huge narrative of concern when really one little tiny thing happened, and we had a positive intent with it, but we didn't feel like we had control, so we told ourselves a bunch of stories. The more we lack a sense of control, the more we spin up lots of stories. And the worst part is, in the modern world, worry has become a connection point for people. Right? Think about the last couple of years. How much connection people got by sharing worries about the future. Oh, I'm worried the kids aren't going to get to go back to school. Oh, I'm worried we're never going to go back to normal. Oh, I'm worried I'm going to get sick. Oh, I'm worried this, I'm worried that. And everyone goes, oh yeah, me too. Oh gosh. And now worry becomes a societal narrative of more stories spun up of concern. And that's the problem. Worry is a great connection point for people, but it often also stops a culture from progressing just as much as it stops you from progressing. And that's why you have to identify what's the positive intent behind this thing, and can you do something about it? Well, I'm worried the kids might not go back to school. Well, guess what? You don't know anything until they say going back to school or not. So let's make the positive intent. The positive intent is, I want my kids to have a great education. Now, you might or may not be able to control the school board or the state or local government of when things are going to happen again, but that positive intent, making sure they have a positive and good education, you can do research on that. You can learn how to homeschool, or you can learn how to be effective in helping them with their schoolwork while they're at home. You can learn that. Explore that. Less time worrying what might or might not happen that you can't control, more time driving towards the positive intent. Next idea is just make a plan. Often I worry about my team members. I worry about my, some piece of content or a book or a project I have in motion. And so if I feel that sense of worry, I'm just going to go and capture that. I'm going to think about the feelings I'm having. I'm going to recognize the positive intent, and I'm going to make a plan. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to take steps 1, 2, 3 to handle this worry. Or in this next hour, I'll take the steps to handle this worry, steps 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes just by making a plan or a to-do list or checklist, you can relieve a lot of that worry because your mind goes, okay, geez, at least there's a plan anymore. So every time it jumps back into problem world and spinning up that narrative, the other part of your brain goes, no, it's all right. Hey, I got this handled. There's a plan over here. So you don't have to have a big plan, but just write down 3 steps, 3 things you can do. Well, I'm worried about marriage. Okay, great. 3 things. What can you do? Go. Okay, plan date night. Say, I'm sorry, and buy a little gift. Okay, great. Good. Do that. Make that positive forward emotion. Because the worry, oh my gosh, my relationship's going to fall apart. It's going to be all awful. Well, that feeling is fear. And the value is, well, you want the relationship to be good. So what steps would you have to take to make the relationship good? You get the idea. Last piece is end your day releasing the worries of the day. I think the end of the day needs to have a practice where you just do a release meditation and you release all the worries and the tension and the thoughts of the day. For me, I just do my release meditation technique. Maybe you go for a long walk. Maybe you journal it out. Maybe you talk it out. But at the end of the day, learn to release that pressure valve. It doesn't mean you can't get up in the morning, be proactive, be thoughtful, be even productively paranoid. But the idea is let it go so you can sleep. I believe we have more people who are struggling through this, epidemic we have of sleep, that they are getting just terrible sleep night after night after night after night. And they try all the motions, they try all the, measurement of their sleep, they chill the room, they get those nice big heavy blankets, they make sure the room is all dark. And then there they are alone with their thoughts and worries. They took all the melatonin, they took all the funny things, they did everything they thought they should do, and it's still, there they are with their worries. You got to release them. You got to let them go. You got to build a practice to do that. And it's not going to be easy. It's just required. That's the thing of self-mastery, isn't it? It's not easy. We just have to do it. I remember in my early 20s, I really struggled with sleeping. And I thought, well, this is crazy. I already know from all the research that sleep is the critical driver to life satisfaction, to health, to recovery, to creativity, to clear thinking, to advancement, and yes, even to income. I've got to figure out how to get my sleep under control. And I fell face to face with the fact that I had to just stop worrying at night. So I had to figure out a way to do that. So what I would do is I would take a long walk and I would listen to positive personal development audios. I'd come back, I'd journal about what I wanted in my life. I'd write down a plan for the next day. I'd lay on the floor, like literally lay on the floor before going to bed. I'd lay on the floor and just do a basic deep breathing technique. I'd breathe deeply, what they now more or less call a box breathing technique. I breathe in 4 counts, hold 4 counts, breathe out 4 counts, hold 4 counts, repeat. And I would just do that. And I'd try to just not think of anything, just let go of things. If my mind wandered in any worry, I'd think about the plan I just wrote down. Okay, cool. And then I just surrender. Nothing more I can do today. God's got it from here. I'll go to bed. He's still working up there. Tomorrow I'll keep working faithfully towards the things I'm hoping to create in my life. And I'll just release the final outcome. My destiny will be built and chosen by someone beyond me. For me, I believe that's my creator. And so let me live tomorrow with positive intention, a clear plan, a faithful, joyous willingness to serve and to work. And I'll let the outcomes take care of themselves. I'll just show up. I'll do my best. I'll do that every day. Not much to worry about when you do those things. I hope you enjoyed this daily fire. If you did, use the GrowthDay app. Hop into the journal, capture those worries. What's the feeling behind it? What's the positive intent or value behind that? Focus on that. Make a plan. This year, make a commitment. You're going to get a handle on worry. You're going to get a handle on it. You might have to read a few books on worry. You might have to do a lot of listening to the GrowthDay coaches in the GrowthDay program, because they're always putting such positive thinking into your head. That's one of the powerful things about GrowthDay is we're just trying to put some positive intention, help you gain greater self-awareness, greater self-mastery, putting some good enthusiasm and positivity into your head so that some of those worries and negativity and chaos don't take over the narrative of your life. You get to architect the stories of your life in your mind. You get to choose what to focus on. You get to choose how to deal with the worries and the emotions that come up. You get to choose that. You'll learn to do better and better at that. Trust, have faith that you will, because you already know every day is a great day to grow.